Well, one thing that we're learning about is, and we've been to the border, we were at the border with the Secretary of Defense last week, as well as Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and the border is closed. It is locked down, and we're learning that 93, it's down, the crossings, I think the Gotaway numbers are down by 93%. And that just shows you the efforts that the administration is making is working.
Right. The numbers during the, this is Trump versus Biden. As you can see, the top two numbers during the Biden administration in fiscal year 2023, 1,800 a day. Right now, it is at 132. That is down 93%. Tom Homan yesterday said that interior enforcement, in other words, the number of people who are being apprehended here within the interior of the United States is 3 times higher than it was a year ago. But at the same time, there are a couple of stories out there this morning that apparently the White House is not crazy about the numbers. They would like to see the numbers bigger. Apparently, the White House has stopped giving out the daily numbers. They're frustrated that the numbers of the people being deported are not big enough, not fast enough to get where the president wanted it to be, where it would be millions deported. And yesterday, 2 top ICE officials were removed from their jobs. One went back to the field office in D.C., the other to Minneapolis, or St. Paul.
He wants $175 billion, says Tom Homan. He needed to complete the U.S.-Mexican border wall. And he says, I got to hire more law enforcement agencies. And then Senator Lindsey Graham says, yeah, if a Republican Congress can't deliver this on the border, why are we even here? You're 100% right. But you have people in the House that don't want to vote for anything that has to do with spending, which I think they got to get their act together. They really could use those 2 extra seats, one from Stefanik, one from Matt Gaetz. So they had repatriation fights going into Venezuela, first one in a couple of years. They thought that was going to be impossible, too. So I personally am not worried about the pace. I just know how dangerous it is to go into these buildings with these ICE guys, because the ICE guys go after criminals, usually armed with nothing to lose. So I like the pace. Think about all the people, Mr. President, that are not coming because you're cracking down. That has a lot to do with these numbers.
So I just messaged a senior ICE official because I'm trying to figure out, are they going to figure out who this leaker is? It's damaging.
Out in California?
Yeah, exactly. Who's messing up what's going on? The source just told me, he says, ICE needs a culture of accountability that has been starved for the past 4 years. We have a president, DHS secretary, and American people who rightfully demand results, and ICE leadership will deliver those results. Apparently, they're cleaning house inside of the agency right now. They're figuring out who exactly is a holdover, that's a career person that is leaking the information, and they're trying to give them the boot.
Well, that's exactly what's illustrated by the accountability, as you just said, how the ICE officials were removed. The whole point is that President Trump is holding a mirror not just to the entire, it includes the administrations and the people that he has installed too. That 93%, that is staggering because of the speed. Within 1 week, it was down 93%. And I hear you where we're just grateful to see movement from the interior, but it just goes to show the high standards the president expects and says, no, it's not good enough. It's not good enough that the president of Venezuela or Colombia says, oh, well, I'll use my own plane, 200 each. No, I want to make it 200 million. This just as yesterday, New York City Mayor Eric Adams touted his 187 million illegal immigrants that they processed through the systems. POTUS says, well, then where are they now? Let's get them out.
And yesterday we were talking a little bit about how 4 FEMA employees, a couple of top guys, were fired because they gave millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars to house migrants here in New York. FEMA, that's a problem. So ultimately, what the administration is trying to do, and the Doge people are trying to help with this, is make sure that everybody in an agency is on the same page, because you're working for the boss. And if everybody's freelancing, it's not going to work.
All right, let's talk about the northern border, because that is a big focus. The president said you got 1 month to clean it up. Where Trudeau, you got 25% tariffs coming your direction. He goes, I want the fentanyl cleaned up, and I want the level of traffic coming through stopped. I need some emphasis on there. So they're going to put some assets. The other thing they're doing is they're going to get a fentanyl czar, and they have it. And he is on board with a very impressive resume. And we talked to the sheriff of Plattsburgh area in upstate New York, Clinton County, and he is encouraged about what he's seeing. He also said in his 23 years on the job, he's never seen it so bad. Watch.
I looked quickly at his resume, and it is impressive. I think he's got some some really good experience, and he certainly seems motivated. So I'm really hoping that he does reach out and we can have some good law enforcement team communications and strategize. But the key to success is going to be whether or not there's a full and truthful sharing of intel. What are they getting? What are they seeing? What's happening? That's going to be the key. It's not going to be the after effect. It's not an us against they. We're on the same team, and we need to be able to work together on this to be able to combat the problem, and we can be successful. With his resume and what he's done in the past, we certainly should be able to accomplish that.
All right, let's see. 43. They say 43 billion pounds, a million pounds have come through, and they said that could have killed 9 million people.
That's right. We share a border. We should share intel.
And he, you know, as he said, the majority of those coming through at this moment of illegal immigrants are Indians. So for those on the left that kept shouting about protests of our porous southern border had tenets of racism, that was the roots, it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with that because both borders have all colors of people all the time 100%. From 85 plus different countries and counting.
Look at that as they scatter. All right.